Welcome to Red Recaps. For today's video, we will be taking a recap of a widely known thriller movie, It. Make sure to watch until the end. What are we waiting for? Let's dig in. Now in 2016, It makes a comeback to Derry and kills a guy by the name of Andrew Mellon after severely beating him and a companion. Mike, the lone survivor of the losers group in Derry, has established his own library. Mike arrives at the scene of the event at 8:13 and finds the words, "Come home," scribbled in blood on the wall. After leaving Derry, the entire losers gang begin living their separate lives while erasing their past. Bill rose to fame as a screenwriter for motion pictures. Then Mike summons every member of his losers group to uphold the commitment they made 27 years prior. Eddie married a mentally stable woman like his mother. Richie, who later started performing stand-up comedy, is shown puking after receiving the call from Mike. Ben, who completely changed from being a chubby child to a muscular adult man, is now a successful businessman. Because Stanley didn't want to deal with Pennywise again after hearing Mike's call at 16:16, he slit his own wrist and committed suicide in the bathtub. Mike also calls Beverly, who is married to a psychopath just like her father. Her husband starts to strike her and attempt to stop her from leaving, but she defends herself and flees the house. In the meantime, Henry Bowers, who survived the well fall in the first movie, was detained by authorities for the murder of his father. After 27 years, Henry is currently a patient at a mental hospital and is awaiting Pennywise's return. When Pennywise arrived, he returned Patrick's knife. The entire losers group eventually arrives at a hotel in China, where Mike informs them that they must keep the pledge they made 27 years ago. However, a lot of time has passed, and they no longer remember their history. They learn about Stanley's passing from Pennywise through the fortune cookie that reads, "Guess Stanley could not cut it." They became aware of him as a result. Only Bill is left after Richie, Eddie, Ben, and Beverly check out and go to the hotel. Bill is persuaded by Mike to simply pay attention to him. A little child in a baseball field becomes distracted by a fly, follows it, and eventually makes her way to the stadium's back, where she runs into Pennywise. She sees Pennywise's ruse as proof that nobody wants to play with me, because Pennywise says he can just blow up the mark on my face. But instead he bites her and kills Victoria when she adds that no one wants to play with her because of the blemish on her face. Henry is able to leave the mental hospital by using the knife to kill someone. Bill comes to Mike's library, where he has accumulated a lot of material over the course of 27 years. Bill was forced to consume a unique serum by Mike, before displaying to Bill the Shakopee that he took from the community. As a result of the serum, Bill experiences a vision of Pennywise landing in Derry on a meteoroid millions of years ago. After seeing the vision with the solution, Bill agrees to assist Mike in stopping Pennywise. "We will all die until we stop it," Mike says, and that's also why Stanley dies. He was the weakest of the group when he and Bill reached the other members after Beverly told them she had a vision of all of them dying. The only way to stop Pennywise is through them and the Chud ritual. Mike then leads everyone to the clubhouse that they constructed in the year 1987. Mike informed them that they needed to obtain the artifact token for the sacrifice inside the pyramid that was set on fire to carry out the Chad rite. The group was then divided. When Beverly returns to her childhood home, Karsh, an elderly woman, departs. The letter that was handed to Beverly by Ben as a youngster is then hidden in the bathroom once Beverly enters the home. The elderly woman only said, "But you know what they say about Derry. No one who dies here ever actually dies," when explaining the city to the young woman. The elderly woman tells Beverly that her father arrived in Derry with just $14 in his pocket and immediately began working for a circus. When Beverly viewed the picture, she assumed the girl was Mrs. Karsh, and that her father was indeed Mr. Pennywise. However, she discovers that Mrs. Karsh is indeed Pennywise in disguise. Richie shows up at the location of the game where he used to regularly go as a child and takes the token game coin to use for the sacrifices. The park, which is seen in the first film, was his next destination, where the losers talked about their anxieties, where young Richie confronted the replica of the actual Paul Bunyan statue in Minnesota's Beltrami country. After receiving a card depicting his own burial, Richie was shown it by Pennywise, who also revealed to him his true situation. While exploring Derry, Bill discovered his own fabled stainless steel bicycle from childhood in an antique shop. It cost him $300 to buy it. He rides by the road where Georgia died after acquiring the bicycle. Georgia is carrying the boat Bill built for him when he notices her in the sewer. Sadly, Pennywise snatches his hand as he reaches out to assist Georgia. Bill advised Dean, a young boy who also hears children and clowns from his bathtub, to leave Derry and never return. The youngster departs by claiming that he must attend the event. Ben goes to his primary school to revisit old memories when he encounters Beverly's burning ghost and discovers his offering for sacrifice, a page that Beverly signed for him when he was a child. When Eddie entered the pharmacy to pick up his inhalers, he noticed a person in the back. Eddie then ran away from the store after choking the ominous dead zombie. Once everyone had returned to the hotel, Richie, who had been confronted by Pennywise, wanted to go, and Eddie, who was in the bathroom, was confronted by Henry, who had wounded him in the face. However, Eddie manages to stab Henry back in the chest, forcing Henry to flee. When Pennywise told Bill that you won't be there for him either, he was conveying the idea that the child must be saved or he would perish. Bill right away leaves and rushes fearfully toward the main event. He observes Dean entering the play area where a clown-themed 1990s cereal can be seen as a dummy. Later, Bill sees Dean in the mirror maze, but the mirror prevented him from getting there, and after that, Pennywise appeared and killed Dean. Richie, who gave up, finds Stanley's church home, remembers his speech there, and decides not to give up because Mike was waiting for everyone in the library. Mike was about to be killed by Henry Bowers when Richie arrived just in time and stabbed an axe into his head, killing him. Pennywise is defeated by the others who followed Bill when he arrived at the abandoned home to kill Pennywise alone. The group then enters the house collectively. Mike, Beverly, and Ben were separated from the group. After finally catching Ben, Pennywise wrote "home" on his belly and prepared to slit his neck. But Beverly intervened, saving his life, and the mark quickly vanished. Other people, Richie was about to be killed when Ben stabbed the creature in the head, forcing him to flee. Bill, Eddie, and Richie were confronted by Stanley's broken head, which later changed into a spider and attacked and bit Richie. The group then enters the sewer after arriving at the underground well. When Mike opens another underground passageway, they eventually arrive at the location where Pennywise initially showed up as dead. All of them begin performing the Chud ceremony using the pyramid-shaped box, and Bill throws the boat he built for Georgia. Eddie throws his inhaler, Richie throws his game token, Beverly throws the letter she believes Bill wrote, Ben throws the page Beverly signed 27 years ago, and Mike throws the rock he used in the fight with Bowers and a hair protector from Stanley's side. They all threw their tokens while they were frozen. Dead lights begin to descend and enter the box, but Pennywise is able to stop it with a big red balloon. When Pennywise gets there, he informs the group that Mike had failed to inform them that the ceremony actually requires 2 people. The ritual wasn't successful when the Native Americans tried to perform it, and the Native Americans also died because they didn't believe it. Fear killed them, according to Mike. The losers try once again, but essentially fail at the first attempt, because it has been revealed that Mike lied to them to simply bring them all together. After revealing himself as Spider Pennywise and attacking the losers, Bill and Beverly manage to escape the traps that Pennywise set for them. Richie manages to divert it while being caught in its dead lights in the process. And Eddie then manages to stand up to the thing just as Mike is about to be devoured. Overcoming his anxieties, he manages to impale Pennywise in his mouth, but eventually Pennywise stabs him. Eddie explained to everyone how they had made it feel insignificant in the past. They faced it and began calling it different names, which made it literally become smaller. They all made him feel good and displayed their courage by doing so. In order to put a stop to Pennywise's life forever, Mike then pulls out his still beating heart. Eddie had to be left where the loser had to leave him. The entire nibbled house was destroyed. After cleaning up from their altercation with Pennywise, the remaining losers head back to their old swimming spot, where they join forces to console Richie during his Eddie loss mourning. Their hand scars vanished without any effort. Richie chose to remain in Derry when the losers dispersed. Stephen King's novel is similar to one that Bill wrote. Mike is leaving Derry and could travel to Florida. Before he leaves, Mike finds out that Stanley gave them all posthumous letters. The letters indicate that Stanley was too afraid to confront it, and that his suicide was meant to bolster his friend's resistance to it. He also challenges the remaining losers to enjoy life to the fullest. Beverly and Ben connected. Mike was observed leaving Derry in a car. Wow, what a thriller! What are your thoughts about this video? Leave a comment down below and let us know what you think about the movie. You can experience the thrills firsthand in the links down below. And also don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more of our videos. Thanks for watching Red Recaps. See you in the next video.